Hey there, this is Dean DeVries, and I am joined by Jimmy and Amy from Pritchard Associates, and I'm really excited for this interview. Before I let them introduce themselves, I just want to say I love you guys. You guys just are such a committed group of people. And you've got a great company. There's tons of success stories that we have with all the agents in our office, and how you guys help our agents as well as our clients, and our clients most of all. So that's really the topic of today, is what you should know about insurance. And I know you guys do a bunch of different types of insurance, but for all intents and purposes, we're going to keep this focused more so on home insurance. And so anyway, welcome to the interview, and why don't you guys introduce yourself to our listeners and let them get to know you a little better.
Awesome. Well, we want to say thanks, Dean, for that wonderful introduction. And I'm Amy. This is Jimmy. And like Dean said, we're from Pritchard Associates Insurance. We're a local insurance agency out of Tradition. As you mentioned, we do all lines of insurance. However, homeowners is our specialty, and we truly love our clients. So basically what we do is we provide as many quotes as we can for anybody. What we do is we work with so many different companies and carriers that we're able to actually shop around each client individually, specific to the home that they're purchasing or the home they already have, in order to find them the best possible policy for the best price.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
So basically, go ahead.
Yeah, so what I was going to mention is that, so you guys kind of act as like, and I love that, and I'll let you tell this part, how, what you charge for your service. But what I love about you guys is that you really are on the same team as the client, and you're there shopping on their behalf and really looking out for their best interests and what their needs are and how to get the best price. So it's very different calling you guys versus calling just a State Farm or something like that. So can you explain that a little bit more, and your relationship with the client, kind of what your role is in facilitating all that?
Absolutely. Pretty much what we do is we'll get a lead from a mortgage broker, from somebody like Dean here at Keller Williams, and we'll reach out to the client. And what we first want to figure out is what the client's needs actually are. We don't want to assume that we know what they need. We know, everything in the process, and we just give them one quote or two quotes and go, you have to pick this, and that's all you got. Amy and I take a lot of effort in our, due diligence in reaching out and finding out, where you come from. Are you from up north in New York? You're not familiar with the Florida insurance market. What can we do to help you? And our service costs you nothing. We get paid by the insurance carrier. So we take pride in doing the best for you. So our service itself and all that doesn't cost the client anything at all. So pretty much when we get this process started, as let's say Dean here sent us a quote, we're going to reach out to the client. At that point in time, we're going to get all the information that we need. We're going to reach out to our over 30 different carriers to find the best possible value, not the best possible price, the best possible value. And then we'll explain everything in that policy to the client, because I have found in my 3.5 years in insurance, the shortcomings on the agent side in this world of insurance is the education part of it. A lot of agents just want to get out there, give you the lowest price and take it. And to be honest with you, a lot of people just want the lowest price. But we've learned, Amy and I, that if you'll just take 5 to 10 minutes and just educate the client on what they're buying, that their experience in insurance will completely do a 180. Because a lot of people just have a bad, thought about insurance, but it's because they don't understand it. So if you can just get in there and just teach the client something and make them feel like they are purchasing it, not that you're selling it to them, it really it makes their whole process of buying a house and getting insurance a lot better.
The experience is much smoother. Basically, like Jimmy said, education is key. We want to make sure that the client knows exactly what they're buying, and that they're not buying anything they don't need, or they're not paying, they're paying for what exactly they need, not too far under and never over. We want to make sure that each person has a specific experience, because every home buyer, every homeowner is different, and every home is different. So we want to make sure that we're catering to that client specifically, and not just on a grand, scale of things. It's really just more of a concierge to that client.
Yeah, I think that's the perfect word to use. And I was just going to comment on that. I love the model that you guys have because, it's much different than if, you have a product that you're trying to sell, sell that product to the client, where, you're kind of acting as more of a, concierge liaison type of relationship, where you can consult with them about truly what their needs are, and you have no agenda. Your agenda is simply to help the client, because when the client gets what they want, you get what you want, versus, going with like, just like, calling State Farm, let's say. I know I'm picking on State Farm, but, they have certain products that they have pressure to sell those products to them, where you guys can kind of take a more consultative role and really understand what their needs are. And I really appreciate that approach too, because that's the same thing I do that whenever I'm working with my clients. Sometimes I'll have a client that, just shouldn't buy a house or shouldn't sell their house. And I get to have that conversation with them and truly see what their needs are and what their goals are, and if I can help them accomplish that. And so you guys have that same model, which I just absolutely love. So, and I know clients really appreciate that too.
They do.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely look out for what's best for the client, not what's best for us or for you or, anybody else involved except for them. It's really how we can make their life easier.
And it can be difficult sometimes, because people, in this process, all they're thinking about is buying their dream home, when in actuality, they're about to buy a nightmare. And you got bad electrical panels, a roof that's going to have to be replaced and cost you $20,000 in a year, and all these things that come into play that we're just, once again, going to educate them. And in the end, it's their decision, but we're definitely going to make sure that they are fully educated and aware of the situation that they're getting themselves in and their family into.
Yeah, that's a great point.
With those circumstances as well, we want to make sure that they're covered properly with anything like that. That way, in the event of a loss, they won't have to worry about having to fork out a lot of money unnecessarily, and they're really properly covered.
Yeah, and to that point, I like what you said, Jimmy, about we're not just shopping for the lowest price, because that's ultimately not necessarily the best value. The best value is getting the most amount of coverage that fits your needs for the best price. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, 100%.
Could you expound on that just a little bit more on what that might look like for a client? If you want to even use an example of, two different options, even though one might be cheaper, it might not be the best option for that particular client.
Absolutely. We have in Florida now, after the big 05 and 06 hurricanes, we have now a source of carriers that have to be admitted through the state of Florida, which means they have to go through a very strenuous program with the state of Florida. They actually have to buy hundreds of millions of dollars of reinsurance from banks in England to be able to write and be an admitted carrier in Florida. But we also have carriers that are, you hear the pop-up or overnight insurance carrier there. And we like to tell people all the time, when we provide them with a quote and they come back with another quote that's $500 lower, but it's not with an admitted carrier. It's not with a company that has been around a long time. They're not very fluent in the Florida way of insurance, which if anybody who ever moved out of state into Florida realizes it's completely different. So we'll make sure we provide them the quotes that we provide them with A-rated carriers, admitted carriers, which is a huge thing, which means you're backed by the state, which can be in a major storm where millions of homes and thousands of homes have been destroyed and families have been torn apart. Having an admitted carrier that has a state that has the insurance company's back it's really worth anything you want to pay for, to be honest with you. It really is.
Wow.
And when I talk to, when I do my insurance classes here, when Amy do our insurance classes here at Keller Williams, I'll ask you agents, what kind of insurance do you have? And a lot of times I get, oh, I got insurance. And that once again shows the shortcoming of where the insurance industry has come up, because they don't want to explain, they don't want to educate again. So that's just an example of here with realtors that deal with insurance all the time on their own deals. The agents that they're with sometimes don't even take into full credit to educate them. So we definitely find that all the time.
Another big difference too is where other agencies will play around with the dwelling coverage, and that's really what will play a big part of premium, is covering your property properly, I guess. So the dwelling coverage is essentially how much it will cost to rebuild your home in the event of a loss. If the home built down to the ground, just the structure itself. So it doesn't cover the land, it doesn't cover anything else except for the structure, unless it's covered on, I guess it's on the policy, but let's just say for argument's sake, just the structure itself. So the dwelling coverage is how much it would cost to rebuild that building from the ground up, as far as fixtures and updates and flooring and windows. I mean, it's down to the nitty gritty to make sure that if God forbid anything is to ever happen and the building is a total loss, how much it would cost to rebuild it to its original state. So that's where some people kind of can play around with the numbers. And I can tell you for this for sure, is that what we do is we do what's called a replacement cost estimator. And that goes in and defines the home specifically. We go through room by room, describing it at an extensive length, saying, you know, whether there's marble countertops or tile floor or carpet, or updated bathrooms, if they have, you know, a huge marble clawfoot tub in one bathroom, you know, but the house down the road may not have that tub, so it, you know, changes the dwelling. And we want to make sure that they're covered properly. So what we do is we put all that information into this cost estimator, which is backed by one of our carriers, and it gives us a number. It gives us a range of numbers. Typically we pick the middle, is that right? We typically pick about the middle, which is fine because they approve the range. We don't want to go any lower than the range and definitely not any higher, because that's the point. But whenever you play with that coverage number is where you get your, typically, where you get your influx or decrease of your premium. So playing with that number really can affect the premium, but you want to make sure that you're covered properly, because if you're underinsured, that doesn't work either. I mean, what's the point?
And just to touch on that again,
so the takeaway that I got from that is you want to make sure you get the right coverage and obviously the best price, but most importantly, the right coverage. And I'll be honest, there's some things that you just talked about that went way over my head. So all I'm saying is that I'm glad that you guys do what you do, because that's super important. I think a lot of buyers can relate to that, where they're just like, what the hell's going on? I don't know what they're talking about. So I really appreciate the service that you guys provide. So having said that, when somebody's buying a house, let's say they found the house of their dreams, a real estate agent helped them go and get under contract, they're buying this house. At what point in that process should they call you? And is this something that you guys like to have their real estate agent do, or do you like to talk with the client directly? What's your preference and what's your recommendation on that?
As soon as they lay their eyes on it, get in contact with the insurance person. Get us involved as soon as possible. That way, if there is any issues with the house, we catch it here and not at the very end. We can advise, you know, does the electrical panel need to be replaced? Is the roof, do we need to get a credit from the seller? There's all these kind of things that you don't want to have to be dealing with the week of your closing. So I always say, get the insurance, get everybody in the process involved as early as possible, so all the little problems can be all worked out and it goes smooth. Because our job is to make the purchase happen as smooth as possible. And that's just when you get us involved early, it gives us all the time we need to be able to call our underwriters, call our carriers, educate the client fully. And if we need to talk to the realtor or the mortgage company on their behalf, we can also do that.
That's great. All right. Well, yeah, I think that's been a lot of good information. Is there anything that I have not asked you that I should have asked you, or anything that you feel compelled to share of, you know, just either trends or just things that you think people should be aware of that might not be very obvious?
Yeah, you know, I think the biggest thing to make people aware of is something as small as like what a wind mitigation is, and also knowing when you don't need one. This is a big thing that a lot of people don't know, and they just take what other people say as gold. Basically, any home built 2002 or newer does not need a wind mitigation, as far as telling us about the roof and such. So that's a good way to save your clients some money. Okay.
And what about the 4-point inspection?
All right. Yeah, the 4-point, it shows 4 points of the house. You have the electrical, the plumbing, the HVAC system, which is the AC, and the roof. Insurance companies with their many years have come together and come to a point where they realize that these 4 points have caused them the most claims. So they want to know that these 4 parts of the house are in the best possible condition. And you will start needing that report when your home is between 30 to 40 years old. But once again, get us involved early so we can let you know, do you need the wind mitigation? Do you need the 4-point? Because if you don't, and you have an uneducated mortgage broker or somebody like that telling you do, you just wasted $300 to $500 right there that you didn't need to waste at the time that you're trying to purchase a house. So it's very important to get us involved early so we can advise you and educate you on what you actually need.
Help save you some money and some headache in the end.
That's really great advice. Yeah, because oftentimes before, I mean, there's so many things that buyers are faced with whenever they, are purchasing a house, especially for somebody that's never done it before. So it's so easy to get overwhelmed, and it's between the inspection and they say, what kind of inspection do I need? I'm like, well, have you talked to Pritchard Associates?
There you go.
So yeah, that's a huge point. And yeah, like you said, could definitely save them, several $100s in many cases. Is there anything else that you guys want to add before we wrap it up here?
Yeah, I'd like to add something just about insurance itself. And what people will sometimes not realize is that insurance is not a warranty program. All right. I have a lot of people say, well, I just sat there and I let my roof go bad. My insurance company should replace it. Well, no, there's a thing called pride of ownership clause in every single insurance policy that says that this is your home. You take pride in it. You make sure everything is up to the standards that we all agree that it would be. So I just want to make sure that for the people that have insurance right now there, that own a home, just realize that if you can't just let things go bad and expect the insurance company to pay for it, because you have the pride of ownership in there that says, I'm going to take care of my part and the insurance company is going to take care of their part. So if you have insurance now, just keep that in mind. It is not a warranty program.
Yeah. Yeah. Having insurance is kind of like having a partner that's there to protect you in the case of an emergency. You wouldn't want to sabotage your own partner. And,
right.
So yeah, that's really good advice. Okay, cool. And for anybody that's watching this that wants to get a hold of you guys, what is the best way to contact you?
The easiest way would be probably through our cell phones or through the office. We have extensions at the office that they have to do is ask for us, and they will make sure that we get the call. So I think that's the easiest way. Would you say?
Office number.
Office number. So the office is in Tradition, and we're right next to the Tutti Frutti. The office number there is 772-349-7700. Just ask for Jimmy and Amy. They'll put you in good hands.
Okay, cool. And I'll make sure I put all of your specific contact information down below in the show notes so that people can have your phone numbers, emails, names, etc.
Yep. And we work 24/7. We're here to work for you guys. So feel free to call us whenever you need anything.
Absolutely.
You got to watch out for the 3 a.m. phone calls that take you up on that. All right, cool. Well, hey, thank you guys so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I know that the people that are watching certainly appreciate it. And while a lot of this stuff can be confusing for most people, and like I said, there's a few things that went over my head, I just feel really good about having you guys as partners and people to rely on, because you do wonderful work. You're committed, and you get the job done. So I appreciate you.
Thank you, Dean. We appreciate it.
Take care. Have a great day.
You too.